Your entire life changes the moment you decide to move. That's right, the simple act of moving, of taking action, is the difference between living a life of endless potential or dying with regret. I've seen it thousands of times, that critical moment when someone finally stops making excuses and starts taking action. Look at your hands right now. These are the most powerful tools ever created for building your dreams. Yet most people use them for nothing more important than hitting the snooze button or scrolling through social media. Every morning, millions of people wake up with big dreams, important goals, and meaningful plans. And every night, they go to bed having done absolutely nothing about them. But today is different. Today, you're going to learn why laziness has been the invisible chain holding you back and exactly how to break free from it forever. This isn't about motivation that fades by tomorrow. This is about a complete transformation in how you approach every single day of your life. Let me tell you about Michael, a top executive I worked with last year. He had everything going for him: intelligence, education, opportunities, but he was stuck in what he called his someday syndrome. Every important project was for someday. Every meaningful goal was for later. Every significant change was for tomorrow. Sound familiar? One day, he calculated the actual cost of his procrastination. Not just in dollars, though, that number was staggering. He calculated the cost in missed promotions, deteriorating health, strained relationships, and lost respect from his team. The number shocked him into action. Within 6 months, he had completely transformed his life, his career, and his future. Here's what Michael learned and what you're about to discover. Laziness isn't just a bad habit. It's a form of self-sabotage that destroys your future one idle moment at a time. But here's the good news. Just as laziness is learned, it can be unlearned. Just as inaction is a choice. Action is a choice. And starting right now, you're going to learn exactly how to make that choice automatically, effortlessly, and consistently. I've spent over 4 decades studying human potential and achievement. I've trained millions of people worldwide, from CEOs to Olympic athletes, and I can tell you with absolute certain, the difference between extraordinary success and mediocrity isn't talent, intelligence, or opportunity. It's the ability to take consistent action toward your goals. Think about this every time you choose comfort over action. You're voting for your old life over your new one. Every time you choose the easy path over the right path, you're choosing your past over your future. But starting today, that changes. Starting right now, you're going to learn the exact strategies and techniques that have helped millions of people transform from procrastinators into high achievers. In the next few minutes, you'll discover proven methods that will not only get you moving, but keep you moving. These aren't complex theories or abstract concepts. These are practical, actionable tools you can start using the moment you finish watching this. And I promise you, if you apply what you're about to learn, this will be the last time you ever struggle with laziness. Your transformation begins now. Not after this video, not tomorrow morning, but right here in this moment. The cost of waiting is simply too high, and your potential is too valuable to waste another day. Let me show you how to break free from laziness forever and step into the extraordinary life you were meant to live. The price of laziness goes far deeper than most people realize. When I ask my seminar participants to estimate how much their procrastination and laziness cost them, they usually think in small numbers, a missed deadline here, a late fee there. But let me show you the real math of inaction and why it's stealing your future right out from under you. Every time you put off an important task, every time you choose comfort over growth, you're not just losing time. You're losing money. Let's say you're earning $50,000 a year right now. That's what most people focus on. But here's what they miss. With consistent action and improved skills, most professionals can increase their income by 10 each year. When you choose laziness over action, you're not just losing today's income. You're losing all your future earnings too. Think of this. If you consistently took action towards your goals, made those extra calls, learned those new skills, and seized those opportunities, where would you be in 5 years? 10 years? I've seen countless people double, triple, even quadruple their income once they understood this principle. The real cost of laziness isn't the $50,000 you're making now. It's the $150,000 you could be making if you started taking action today. But the financial cost is just the beginning. Let me tell you about Sarah, a brilliant manager I work with. She kept putting off having important conversations with her team. I'll handle it next week, she'd say. It's not the right time. 1 year later, her best employees had left, her department's performance had plummeted, and her career was stuck. The cost, hundreds of thousands in lost income, a damaged reputation, and countless sleepless nights. Your relationships pay the price too. Every time you're too tired to keep your promises, every time you're too busy to show up fully, you're not just missing a moment. You're slowly eroding trust. I've seen marriages crumble, friendships fade, and parent-child relationships deteriorate. Not because of major conflicts, but because of the slow poison of chronic laziness. Then there's your health. I'll start exercising next month. I'll eat better after the holidays. I'll get more sleep once this project is done. These seemingly small decisions compound over time. One of my clients calculated that his habit of choosing the couch over the gym had cost him, and not just his health, but over $50,000 in medical bills, lost productivity, and decreased earning potential. The most devastating price of laziness: lost opportunities. Every day, life presents you with chances to grow, to advance, to transform. But opportunities don't wait for you to feel ready. They don't come back because you finally found your motivation. They appear and they disappear, and with them go the alternate futures they could have created. I remember talking to a business owner who had the chance to invest in Amazon stock in its early days. He had the money, he had the information, but he never got around to it. That single instance of laziness cost him millions. Now, I'm not saying every opportunity will be that dramatic, but I'm saying this: every time you choose inaction, you're saying no to your future. Your brain is constantly watching you. Every time you choose laziness over action, you're training it to believe that comfort is more important than growth. Every time you put off an important task, you're reinforcing the neural pathways of procrastination. This isn't just about today's choices. It's about who you're becoming. The average person spends 2-3 hours each day on social media, streaming services, and other forms of passive entertainment. That's 730 to 1095 hours per year. Think about this. In that same time, you could learn new language, start and grow a business, write a book, get in the best shape of your life, or master a valuable skill that could double your income. But here's what's really happening. While you're choosing comfort, someone else is choosing growth. While you're putting things off, someone else is taking action. While you're making excuses, someone else is making progress. And one day, you'll look up and wonder why they're so lucky, why they have so many advantages, why life seems to favor them. The truth is, luck favors the prepared. Success is attracted to action. Opportunities flow to those who are ready for them. And right now, you're about to learn exactly how to position yourself to be that person. The one who takes action, the one who makes things happen, the one who turns potential into reality. Now that you understand the real price of laziness, let's talk about something even more important: why you do what you do. Because once you understand your patterns, you can change them forever. This isn't about blame, it's about freedom. Freedom from the habits that have been holding you back. Think of laziness like a computer program running in the background of your mind. It's not your natural state. It's a set of triggers, responses, and habits that you've picked up over time. And just like any program, once you understand how it works, you can rewrite it. Ladies share a powerful insight from working with thousands of people. Laziness never shows up alone. It always comes with a story. I'm too tired. It's not the right time. I need to feel motivated first. I'll do it when everything is perfect. These aren't just excuses. They're signals. They're telling you exactly where your success program needs updating. I worked with a sales professional named Robert who always said he was too tired to make his calls in the afternoon. When we dug deeper, we discovered something fascinating. It wasn't physical tiredness at all. It was fear of rejection masquerading as fatigue. The moment he understood this, everything changed. His energy magically appeared because he wasn't fighting an imaginary battle anymore. Your environment plays a huge role too. Look around your workspace right now. Is it set up for action or distraction? Every notification on your phone, every tab open on your browser, every bit of clutter on your desk. These aren't just minor annoyances. They're permission slips for laziness. They're telling your brain it's okay to get distracted, it's okay to put things off. People wait to feel motivated before they take action. But this is exactly backward. Motivation doesn't create action. Action creates motivation. Every time you wait to feel ready, you're strengthening the laziness program in your mind. Think about the last time you put off something important. Now, be honest with yourself. What were you really avoiding? Was it the task itself, or was it something deeper? In my experience, laziness is often a mask for other feelings. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of judgment, fear of responsibility. One of the most powerful patterns I've discovered is what I call the comfort zone trap. Your brain is wired to conserve energy and avoid potential threats. This was great when we were living in caves and needed to survive. But in today's world, This same programming keeps you stuck. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you're making the walls of your comfort zone stronger. Let me tell you about Jennifer, a writer I worked with. She had a pattern of starting strong but never finishing her projects. When we examined her pattern, we found something surprising. It wasn't writing she was avoiding, it was the possibility of criticism once she put her work out there. Once she understood this, she could address the real issue instead of fighting with herself about being lazy. Your self-talk is another crucial pattern. When you call yourself lazy, you're not describing your behavior, you're reinforcing an identity. This is why simply trying to push through laziness rarely works in the long term. You're fighting against who you think you are instead of creating who you want to become. Here's a pattern that surprises many people. The bigger the task, the more likely you are to put it off. Your brain looks at large goals and automatically tries to protect you from potential failure by encouraging procrastination. This isn't a character flaw. It's a survival mechanism that's outlived its usefulness. Understanding these patterns gives you power over them. Every time you feel the pull of laziness, every time you hear those familiar excuses, you can now recognize them for what they are: old programming that no longer serves you. They're not truth. They're just habits waiting to be replaced. The good news is, once you understand your patterns, you can change them. Once you see the triggers, you can respond differently. Once you recognize the stories, you can write new ones. This isn't about willpower or motivation. It's about reprogramming your mind for success and action. Now that you understand your patterns, let's talk about something exciting: how your brain actually works and how to make it work for you instead of against you. This isn't complex science. These are practical tools you can use starting today to transform how you think and act. Your brain has a reward system powered by a chemical called dopamine. Most people think dopamine is released when you achieve something pleasurable, but here's the game-changing truth. Dopamine is actually released when you anticipate a reward. This is why scrolling through social media is so addictive. Your brain is constantly anticipating the next interesting post. Let me show you how to use this to your advantage. One of my clients, Lisa, was struggling to start her morning workout routine. We changed one simple thing. Instead of thinking about the workout itself, she started laying out her gym clothes the night before. Just seeing them in the morning triggered her brain's reward system, anticipating the feeling of accomplishment after the workout. Within weeks, her morning routine became automatic. Your brain is like a muscle. It grows stronger in the areas you exercise most. When you regularly choose action over laziness, you're not just making a decision. You're physically rewiring your neural pathways. Scientists call this neuroplasticity, but I call it your success programming system. Think about learning to drive a car. At first, it took all your concentration. Now you do it automatically. Why? Because you created strong neural pathways through repetition. The same principle applies to taking action versus being lazy. Every time you choose action, you're strengthening those success pathways in your brain. Here's something fascinating about your brain's energy system. You have about 3-4 hours of peak mental energy each day. Most people waste these hours on low-value activities, then wonder why they can't find the energy for important tasks. Understanding your energy cycle is crucial for beating laziness. I worked with a CEO who was always too tired to work on strategic planning. When we tracked his energy patterns, we discovered his peak mental hours were 6-9 a.m. But he was spending this time answering emails and attending unnecessary meetings. Once he realigned his schedule to match his brain's natural rhythm, his productivity soared. Your brain also has what scientists call an implementation intention system. In simple terms, this means your brain responds better to specific plans than vague goals. I'll start exercising as a wish. I'll walk for 30 minutes at 7. Tomorrow is a plan your brain can actually execute. Here's a powerful truth about motivations. Your brain is constantly asking itself, is this worth the energy? When you understand this, you can hack your own reward system. Break down big tasks into smaller ones and celebrate completing each one. Your brain will start associating action with pleasure instead of pain. Let me tell you about Mark, a programmer who transformed his productivity using this knowledge. He started giving himself a small reward, just standing up and stretching, after every 30 minutes of focused work. Within days, his brain started craving these work sessions because it associated them with feeling good. Your brain also has a fascinating feature called the reticular activating system. It's like a spotlight that focuses on whatever you tell it is important. When you consciously set goals and review them daily, your brain literally starts scanning your environment for opportunities to achieve them. Think about buying a new car. Suddenly you notice that model everywhere. That's your reticular activating system at work. When you program it for success and action, you'll start noticing opportunities you were missing before. They were always there. You just weren't primed to see them. Understanding peak performance states is another crucial piece. Your brain operates best in what scientists call a flow state, when you're fully engaged in what you're doing. But here's the key. You can't wait for flow to find you. You have to create the conditions for it. One of my clients, a writer named David, struggled with procrastination until he understood this principle. He created what he called his flow triggers, a specific playlist, a clean desk, and a cup of green tea. These simple cues told his brain it was time to work, and his productivity tripled. Your brain also responds to momentum. Starting is often the hardest part because your brain requires more energy to initiate an action than to continue it. This is why the 5-minute rule is so powerful. Tell yourself you'll work on something for just 5 minutes. Once you start, your brain's momentum system takes over and you'll often continue naturally. The most important scientific insight about motivation is this. Your brain follows your body. You don't have to feel motivated to take action. When you take action first, your brain chemistry changes to match your behavior. This is why waiting to feel motivated is a trap. Action comes first, motivation follows. Now that you understand how your brain works, let me share the exact formula that will transform you from a procrastinator into an action taker. This isn't theory. This is a proven system that's created extraordinary results for thousands of people worldwide. The success formula starts with what I call your power hour. The first 60 minutes after you wake up set the tone for your entire day. Most people reach for their phone, check social media, or watch the news, but high achievers do something different. They use this time to program their day for success. Let me tell you about James, a business owner who was always too busy to grow his company. He started using the power hour formula. 20 minutes of planning, 20 minutes of learning, and 20 minutes of immediate action on his most important task. Within 3 months, his business revenue doubled. Why? Because he stopped reacting to life and started directing it. Crucial part of the formula most people miss. Clarity equals power. You must know exactly what you want and exactly what you'll do to get it. Vague goals produce vague results. Precise goals produce precise results. Write down your top 3 priorities every single day. Not 10, not 5, just 3. This focuses your brain's energy on what truly matters. I worked with a surgeon who felt overwhelmed by her workload until she applied this principle. Instead of a scattered to-do list, she focused on 3 key outcomes each day. Her stress disappeared, her performance improved, and she started leaving work 2 hours earlier. Sometimes doing less actually helps you accomplish more. The next part of the formula is what I call success chunking. Your brain gets overwhelmed when you focus on big tasks. But here's the key. Every big task is just a series of small tasks in disguise. Break everything down into 30-minute chunks. This tricks your brain's reward system into helping you instead of fighting you. One of my clients, a PhD student, was paralyzed by the thought of writing her dissertation. We broke it down into 30-minute writing sessions. She stopped thinking about writing a dissertation and started thinking about writing for just 30 minutes. Within 6 months, her dissertation was complete and she finished ahead of schedule. Here's another powerful part of the formula. So decision elimination. Every decision you make drains your mental energy. Successful people remove as many daily decisions as possible. Steve Jobs wore the same style clothes every day. Mark Zuckerberg does the same. They're not being eccentric, they're being strategic. Think about this. President Obama had only 2 colors of suits when he was in office. When asked why, he said, "I have too many other decisions to make." This isn't about clothes. It's about conserving mental energy for what truly matters. Create systems that eliminate unnecessary decisions from your life. The next element is what I call the if-then protocol. Instead of relying on motivation, create automatic response patterns. If it's 6 a.m., then I exercise. If my phone rings during my focus time, then it goes to voicemail. If I finish a task, then I immediately start the next one. This removes the mental debate that leads to procrastination. A sales manager I worked with used this to transform her team's performance. Instead of letting her team decide when to make calls, she implemented "it's not name." Then we make calls. No discussion, no debate, no procrastination. Her team's sales doubled in 90 days. Time blocking is another crucial part of the formula. Don't just plan your day, defend it. Block out specific times for specific activities and treat these blocks as unbreakable appointments with yourself. Your time is your life. When you let others control your time, you let them control your life. Here's a powerful technique within the formula. So the task completion trigger. Every time you complete a task, immediately, without pause, start the next one. Don't check your phone. Don't grab a coffee. Don't take a quick break. Use the momentum you've built to launch straight into the next task. The final piece of the success formula is what I call daily closing. The last 30 minutes of your workday are sacred. Use them to review what you've accomplished, plan for tomorrow, and clear your workspace. This sends a signal to your brain that work is complete and gives you the mental freedom to truly rest and recharge. Remember this, the success formula isn't about working harder. It's about working smarter. It's about aligning your actions with your brain's natural tendencies. When you do this, taking action becomes your default setting. Laziness becomes the uncomfortable option. Now we're going to take everything you've learned and turn it into a practical system you can start using immediately. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where knowledge turns into results. And I'm going to show you exactly how to make it happen. Let's start with your morning routine, because this is where most people lose the battle against laziness. The key is to win the first hour of your day. Your new morning starts the night before. Take 5 minutes before bed to lay out everything you need for your morning success routine. Not just your clothes, everything. One of my clients, a busy mother of 3, transformed her life with this system. She set up what she called her success station, a dedicated space where she laid out her workout clothes, her journal, her water bottle, and her priority list for the next day. This simple preparation eliminated all the small decisions that typically drain morning energy and create excuses. When you're at morning sequence, when your alarm goes off, count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and physically move. Don't think, don't debate, don't negotiate with yourself. This is what I call the physical trigger system. Your body leads, your mind follows. The moment your feet hit the floor, you've already won the first battle of the day. Next comes your energy management system. Most people try to manage time, but energy is the real key. Break your day into 90-minute focus blocks followed by 15-minute recovery periods. This matches your brain's natural rhythm and prevents the energy crashes that lead to laziness. Let me show you how this works in practice. A software developer I worked with was struggling with consistency. We set up his day in 90-minute blocks, coding for 90 minutes, 15-minute break, meetings for 90 minutes, 15-minute break, and so on. His productivity doubled, and more importantly, he maintained high energy throughout the day. Now let's talk about your workspace. Remove every single thing that doesn't directly contribute to your productivity. Every item on your desk is either helping you take action or giving you permission to procrastinate. There is no middle ground. Clear space creates clear action. The 2-minute rule with a twist. If something takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. But here's the twist. Use the momentum from completing that small task to immediately start a larger, more important task. This creates an action chain that bypasses your brain's resistance to big projects. Task batching is your next implementation step. Group similar tasks together and handle them in focus blocks. All your calls in one block, all your emails in one block, all your creative work in one block. This prevents the mental energy drain that comes from constant context switching. A sales executive I coached increased her sales by 40 using this system. Instead of checking emails throughout the day, she batched them into 2 30-minute blocks. Instead of making random calls, she batched them into 2 focused hours. Her energy stayed high, her focus remained sharp, and her results soared. Create what I call success triggers in your environment. These are physical cues that automatically prompt productive behavior. Put your running shoes by your bed if you want to exercise in the morning. Keep a water bottle on your desk. Place your most important files front and center on your desk. The power of success triggers comes from their ability to bypass your conscious resistance. Writer I worked with struggled with writer's block until she created a specific success trigger. A scented candle she only lit when writing. Soon, just the smell of that candle put her brain into writing mode automatically. Next, implement the no escape zone. This is a designated time and space where you work on your most important tasks with 0 distractions. Put your phone in another room. Close all unnecessary browser tabs. Tell everyone you're unavailable. This isn't about duration, it's about intensity. 30 minutes of truly focused work beats 3 hours of distracted effort. Your productivity tracking system is another crucial implementation step. But here's the key: don't track time, track completions. At the end of each day, write down everything you completed, not everything you did. This shifts your focus from activity to achievement. A corporate manager I worked with transformed his team's performance with this simple shift. Instead of tracking hours worked, they tracked problems solved. Instead of monitoring time at desk, they monitored milestones reached. Their productivity skyrocketed because they focused on what mattered: results. Finally, implement your daily success ritual. This is a 5-minute process at the end of each day where you do 3 things. Celebrate what you've accomplished, identify what you learned, and set your top 3 priorities for tomorrow. This creates a success cycle that builds momentum day after day. Remember this: implementation isn't about perfection, it's about progress. You don't have to get everything right immediately. Start with one system, master it, then add another. The key is to take action now while this information is fresh in your mind. Everything you've learned today leads to one crucial truth: momentum is the key to permanent change. Small actions consistently taken create unstoppable force in your life. Let me show you how to build this momentum and make it permanent. Start with what I call the success chain. Each small win creates energy for the next win. Complete one task, immediately start another. Finish one project, instantly begin the next. Don't break the chain. This isn't about working nonstop. It's about maintaining forward motion. A client of mine, Karen, used this principle to transform her business. She started with just 5 sales calls every morning, just 5. But she never broke the chain. 5 became 10, 10 became 20. Within 6 months, she had the highest sales numbers in her company's history. Not because she worked harder than everyone else, but because she understood the power of momentum. Here's something crucial about momentum. It works in both directions. Every time you give in to laziness, you make it easier to be lazy again. Every time you take action, you make it easier to take action again. This is why small wins are so powerful. They create positive momentum that builds on itself. Think about pushing a car. The hardest part is getting it moving. But once it's moving, it takes much less energy to keep it going. Your life works the same way. The hardest part is starting. But once you're in motion, staying in motion becomes natural. This is where most people get stuck. They try to make too many changes at once. They create elaborate plans and complex systems. But momentum doesn't come from perfect plans. It comes from consistent action. Start small, but start now. Take one thing you've learned today and implement it immediately. Remember this: setbacks are not failures, they're feedback. Every time you face resistance, every time you slip back into old habits, you're learning. You're gathering information about what works and what doesn't. Use this feedback to adjust your approach, not to judge yourself. I worked with an Olympic athlete who told me something profound. I never lose. I either win or learn. This isn't just a clever saying. It's a success strategy. When you remove the fear of failure, you remove the biggest barrier to action. The compound effect of your daily choices is staggering. Every small action you take today shapes who you'll become tomorrow. 5 minutes of reading each day equals 30 hours of learning per year. 15 minutes of exercise each day equals 91 hours of physical improvement annually. Small actions, massive results. Think about who you'll be 1 year from now. If you implement what you've learned today, think about the pride you'll feel knowing you conquered laziness. Think about the respect you'll earn from others, and more importantly, from yourself, when you become known as someone who takes consistent action. But here's the most important part. Your transformation begins right now, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Right now, in this moment. The choice is yours, and it's a choice you'll make with the very next action you take after watching this. Take out your phone right now. Open your calendar, schedule your power hour for tomorrow morning, decide on your first 3 priorities, set up your success station, take one small action that commits you to your new path. Everything you want in life, everything you dream about, everything you hope to achieve, it all lies on the other side of action. The only thing standing between you and your goals is the willingness to move, to start to take that first step. You have everything you need. You have the knowledge, you have the tools, you have the ability. The only question left is, what will you do with it? Will you let this be just another video you watched, or will you let this be the moment everything changed? The answer to that question won't come from your words. It won't come from your intentions. It will come from your actions, starting right now. Because that's what this all comes down to, the ability to transform knowledge into action and action into results. Your new life is waiting for you. Your future self is watching to see what you'll do in this moment. Make them proud. Take action. Start now and never look back. Remember, this isn't who you are. It's just a habit you've practiced. Starting today, you're going to practice something new. You're going to practice taking action. You're going to practice creating momentum. You're going to practice becoming the person you were meant to be. The time is now. The person is you. The choice is yours. Take action.